very good afternoon to you for a very last time on the daily service delivery gauge with just 3 days to the local government polls. We are on SABC 1 and the SABC News channel. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Our sign language interpreter is Ufortune Wagamadlala. It's Your Thought Thursday, so please do share those with us on all of our social media platforms. My co-anchor, Criselda Lewis, joins us from the ROC in Pretoria. Very good afternoon to you, Criselda.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Mxolisi. Indeed, for the last time here on the Daily Service Delivery Gauge, live from the Results Centre here in Pretoria. Over the next couple of days, this is where everything will be unfolding. This leaderboard here behind me is exactly where the results will be coming from. Political parties will be here monitoring the situation, of course. All this now just 3 days away to South Africa's local government election. I'll tell you much more very shortly. Let's start the programme.
Thank you very much for that, Criselda. We're looking forward to it. Now, basic services such as water have become a luxury for residents of the Lobagate village in Kuruman in the Northern Cape. Residents say they receive clean water, running water, for only just a few hours a day or none at all in some days. And this has been going on for decades.
Lobagate village has seen little to no development for a long time. Residents still have to travel many kilometers to get water, and on most days, the long trips have become futile.
We are really struggling with water. When the engine stops pumping out the water, the taps are dry, which means we spend the night without water.
At least more than 100 houses rely on less than 10 communal taps. A water stream in the village has become a plan B for residents. That too is nowhere near the houses.
When children come back from school, they find dry taps. You are then forced to go to the stream to get water just to ensure that your child baths at night. We have been struggling for long, but our councillors are not taking us serious. I use one tap, and when someone finds me there, they wait for long to get water. We travel too far for water, and this is unacceptable.
The Jomorolong local municipality, which is responsible for providing water, blames the inconsistent water supply on the increasing population in the area.
In the 2019 and 2020 financial year, we made budget available for refurbishment at Lobagate. The project was completed and handed over to the community. We then realized that the village was growing as more people were building houses. We made an assessment whereby a technical report was sent to Treasury for approval. We are still awaiting a response from Treasury.
Lobagate is just but one village that's left to fend for itself. With just a few days before the local government elections, residents here say they have a lot to think about before casting their votes. Neria Hlakotza, SABC News, Lobagate village, Kuruman, Northern Cape.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Service Delivery Gauge, which just 3 days to the local government elections. We continue with important conversations on the program. Now, on yesterday's show, we had a caller, Thobeka Nzinzila, from the Buffalo City municipality, who shared some of her difficulties with her. Her main issue was around water and sanitation where she lives. Let's take a listen.
Ndinamanzi lapha phambi kwendlu ndake ndowaripota kumasipala andilawo imali yowenza qho xa ndivuka sifuna ndivuke ndiwakhe wathi akumntu makazenzele aseyadi ngoba andinamali ngoba ndicela uncedo aborhulumente andincede hayi kunzima kaloku ndiyasokola kusasa funa ndivuke ndithe la manzi wagale edreyini qho kusasa ndivuka ndithe la manzi wagale edreyini and kunzima nophuma kaloku kwale ndandihlala kwayikho right le ndlu ndihleli phambi kwayo.
Akho kwamntu oncedisayo ke ngoku mama ingathi kunzima phaa kakhulu.
Ondincedisayo?
Ewe noko mhlawumbi abantwana bakhoyo phaa okanye kwamntu okuncedisayo apha.
Hayi andinamntana cha kuye kube kumama kwabathondana bazoninceda nje. Nakunzima kaloku nokukhutshwa apha phandle. Ndihlala nobrother wami okwakhubazekileyo naye.
Ungafuna ke ngoku ocounselor bathini ke ngoku mama noko sekuzoyokuvotwa ke ngoku ngomvulo ungafuna ukubona ntoni kulo area yakho mama ukuthi noko kube ngconywana?
Ndingafuna basincede kaloku urhulumente izinto esizinqwenelayo sizifumane. Yabona le ndlu jona zandifumana urhulumente le ndlu sayithenge ukuba ndazifumane indlu. Ngoku kaseko ndincede kule ndlu ndiphume ndingene ndikwazi uba zonke into zam belula.
At the back of that shocking video we just saw. Now, Buffalo City Municipality responded to the video. Thobeka Nzinzilas just sent us on our social media. Joining us now is Samgelo Ngwenya, the municipality's spokesperson. Samgelo, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you for coming on. So, what do you have to say about Thobeka's plight?
Thank you for the opportunity. When we saw the video, we were also equally shocked. In a sense that at first it appeared as if Umama Thobeka is actually using that water to actually look after herself, like drink and clean herself and cook. So we were able to locate her and we sent a team of housing because we actually initially thought that it was an issue of maybe removing her from the housing situation. But then when we got there, we realized we had actually sent a wrong team. It's actually not an issue of housing. She's got a house. This is basically water that is leaking, and it's in front of her yard. So what we then did was to send another team, which is in this case is a team that is responsible for water in the area.
So now, Samgelo, it's obvious that Mama's plight is actually just a drop in the ocean to what actually happens to other communities across the country. And we were fortunate enough to hear from her and shine a spotlight on her issues. Talk to us about the programs that you have picked up on as well as challenges in your communities.
When it comes to water policy, 98% of the communities in our city have got access to water, and those that don't, we cut. But when it comes to water leaks, this is a very broad issue, and you are quite correct, it's a challenge. The main issue with this type of situation is that when one has a leak in their yard and the municipality is unable to actually intervene, in the case of Mam Thobeka, it's actually a neighbor whose water is actually trickling into in front of her yard. So in this case, even though we've sent a team to actually investigate and inspect and make recommendations, we still need to follow protocol, which means we have closed the water that is leaking next door, but we are unable to access the yard. So it's such that we are working through the councillor to actually get into this situation. We are in a water crisis, so we cannot afford any leak. It's even worse when it's inconveniencing a neighbor like Umama Thobeka in this situation. So from here, the way forward on her specific situation is that we'll then set the motion to actually fix the neighbor's leak, provided that they qualify for an indigent. That area that she stays in is called Duncan Village. It's quite a condensed area. It's got old infrastructure, and one of the issues that is taking place is to actually remove people from that area and actually move them out. That is why these leaks, you would have a house and have your neighbor leaking into your house. It's because of the congestion in that Duncan Village area.
Samgelo, now on the other hand, we also had reaction to that video on social media with some viewers, from Buffalo City saying that it's all a lie. I want you to respond to that, but also I want you to speak to solutions to the plight Yaga Mama that we've just seen.
In actual fact, we were in agreement with the people that were in shock, police. Remember, we thought this was the water that she was only able to access and drink. So the whole storm that it has caused has actually sent us all over the place because we couldn't believe that something of this nature could happen in Duncan Village, let alone in Buffalo City. But now that we've narrowed it down to actually allay fear to the public that firstly, Mutobeka has got a house, so there's no need for us to remove her. And secondly, she's got water coming into the house in terms of standing pipes, so there's no need for us to intervene in that area. This is an issue of a water leak, and we are committing ourselves as a municipality that we are going to fix it. We're also calling on people within the city that they can always report leaks to us, because we're in a drought situation. We want to react to water leaks as fast as we can so that we actually don't lose water. And those that are inconvenienced on this nature can always also contact their local ward councillor so that we can come in and sort it like we did in this case.
All right, Samgelo Ngwenya is the spokesperson for the Buffalo City Municipality. Thank you so much for your time on the daily service delivery gauge. Now, before we went to the break, we heard from Griselda saying goodbye from Pretoria, and that is because today is indeed our final program as the service delivery gauge daily show. And with that, Ubongi Wezwane kicks off what will be known as the local government elections results team. A very good afternoon, Bongi.
Hi,
I'm starstruck to be standing next to you. Welcome to the team. It's great to have you. And I'm sure our viewers are equally just as excited. It's going to be a very action-packed next couple of days. Are you excited about it?
Thank you very much, Mkolisi. I tell you what, the next couple of days are going to be quite critical, especially because we're going to be taking the viewers through the first set of results. You and I have that privilege. I mean, a lot of people are going to be waiting with bated breath to see what happens in the early hours of the morning, and that's where you and I are going to be coming in to make the numbers make sense for everybody else.
And they have to make sense indeed. And we've seen over the past couple of days, we've spoken to some South Africans as well who've, put on some serious bread and butter issues on the table. And as the daily service delivery gauge, we've been trying to navigate around that. Let's talk about what we'll be offering to our viewers before we visit our colleagues in Pretoria.
It's going to be very interesting because, Mkolisi, one of the things before we bring in Griselda, as the viewers can see her here at the back of us, is that there's analysis that also needs to be looked into when it comes to what's happening in these municipalities. At the same time, there is also going to be the important conversations that need to happen, around the independent candidates. Those are some of the interesting results. But let's then go to Griselda, because that is where we are going to be watching the action from Griselda. That's the nerve center where you are. Talk to us about what's going to be happening in the next couple of days.
All right, Bongi Mkolisi, absolutely. The conversations will be flowing from here. As I indicated a bit earlier on, the leaderboard here, right where you just see this logo of the municipal elections, is exactly where that's going to light up, and basically where political parties will be monitoring from here exactly what will be taking place after, of course, the votes have been counted. This will give you an indication. The SABC has set up both its radio and television facilities here, just towards my right, towards my left as well. The IEC has also set up what will be the legal division. Of course, many questions being asked about what happens in the event of perhaps, some arguments in this election, some people contesting some of the results that are coming in. So the IEC has also been set up here. So also the SABC over the next couple of days is going to be focusing a lot on ramping up its coverage in terms of starting new programs that will speak to, where we are, how far we'll go in terms of covering these elections. And a number of those programs that will be set up, a number of anchors will come through as well, and they will also give a lot pertaining to how the SABC itself will be able to cover this election. A number of faces will come through. You indicated, Bongiwe, as well, that you will be joining Mkolisi. I think that's from about midnight, is it? I think on Monday, yes.
You'll
give us more clarity on that. Also joining us will be Flo Ledwaba. I'm going to join her in the next few moments. You'll see her right there. Flo, a very good afternoon to you, walking into the studio at this point. Very good afternoon to you. Hello.
All right, good afternoon to you, my colleague. And, of course, the results team, as we're being called at the moment. And I know we're calling this the Nerve Center. That's the IEC's ROC, what's called the Results Operations Center. But I'm choosing to call this the Nerve Center of the Nerve Center. This is where SABC will be broadcasting. This will be our set for the duration of the election. So certainly this is where the analysts will be sitting. While we unpack everything, we'll be getting information from there. As you pointed out, those boards, Griselda, will certainly be be really on the ball with it, talking to our analysts about all of this. So, all right, so we'll have our analysts here. Myself and Bongiwe will certainly be sitting here talking to the analysts too in the meantime. And of course,
Also,
let's
come
talk to
here.
the screens. Let's talk to the screens.
Come with us this way. Kutsa, hi. This is the man that makes sure that all the technology happens at the SABC. So this is where we are. Massive comparisons that will be done here. You're able to compare what the results were in the previous election and what will be happening as it comes in. This is where we are, okay? There we are, valid versus spoiled. Let's go back. Kutso, walk us through this. Let's go to the homepage, I guess. You're able to compare what took place in the last election. Let's go a bit there. Let's show the viewers. Are we able to do that?
To different sites where we choose whatever site we want to use. This is the SABC side. It can go to previous local government elections. We are also on the SENEF website. We are on the Wazi maps, it's all info that we can get, and especially the IEC results dashboard where we get the precious results as they come in and when it happens, and we can zoom in into ward level.
Ward seats and the support
yes,
as well?
Yes, yeah. So that's what we'll be using here. We've got 2 of those screens for our presenters here to use, and all other gadgets outside that will make this a really wonderful.
You're really pressed for time. I'm going to allow you to continue your work. Bring back Flo Ledwaba once again. Flo, a critical time where the elections will be trickling in. A lot of political parties that have been crisscrossing the country over the past couple of weeks on edge as those numbers come in.
Look, it's quite an important time, and you know we've been covering the election build-up, if I can call it that, throughout the couple of weeks, and you know it's not as obvious as it's been in the last election. Certainly, you know, you're talking about the independent candidates, and of course some nerves as well for the bigger parties. So we'll be seeing all of that. I mean, the bigger parties do have a place there. Their workstations, the parties that are represented indeed in the National Assembly, they'll be sitting there to our left-hand side, that side, 15 of the ones that are represented in the National Assembly. But the smaller parties will also be visible throughout. So we'll be taking a look at that screen and making sure that everything is going according to plan. And we're right in the center of all the broadcasters at this time. So certainly up to date, we're seeing all the action as it takes place. And I will take a seat right here and we'll be talking to those analysts. And of course, our reporters like yourselves will be all over the country, spread out. We'll be talking to you, talking about what's happening at the different voting stations. Really quite an exciting time, I must say.
Absolutely. Flo Ledwaba, thank you very much indeed. We appreciate your time. Flo Ledwaba, one of the anchors, of course, here at the SABC, that will be looking at those results as they trickle in. Of course, that voting needs to take place. But of course, today is that final episode of the Daily Service Delivery Gauge. From myself, Criselda Lewis, thank you very much to our viewers on SABC News throughout these past 4 weeks for engaging with us, as well as our partners on official SABC One, our sister channel as well. From the Rock here, the Results Centre in Pretoria, thank you very much for joining us. The Daily Service Delivery Gauge is out.
Thank you very much indeed, guys. We're looking forward to that, of course. And of course, SABC News has all the angles covered, Bongi.
And that place is going to be a hive of activity. I tell you what, Mkolisi, you are going to probably be running up and down. You need your running shoes in order to make sure that we stay ahead of all those numbers. But we still have some minutes before we go off air. And this is the time to hear from you at home.
Yep, and here are some of the videos that you sent us on our WhatsApp line. Let's roll them.
Mina angiyi ukuyovota ngoba noma ulambile kune lockdown kuphuma lo muntu ohlala naye ahambe eyokufunela ukudla akuzamele ukudla abuye nakhe naye engasebenzi ama-food parcel aye kubantu abaziwayo angivoti sidalo ngivotela lo muntu engihlala naye indoda yami enginika ukudla.
People see a problem. We have a very big problem at Eguruleni municipality, and then service delivery a lot of blockage in sewer.
Sorry, ek wil nou net weet oor hierdie toilette wat so laat gekom haal word en dan word hulle nie gekom haal nie na 2 maande nie. Ek praat nou met al die partye nou wat nou beklei nou dat hulle moet oorvat. Een van hulle laat dit nie weer dieselfde ding as wat nou gebeur hier by ons hier in Appington.
Well, thank you for those. Do keep them coming, of course, because there's our sister program, the Service Delivery Gauge, on Sunday for that as well. Now, let's take a look at what's happening on our social media page.
And we start with Kuto, who says you can't separate the two. The state is administered by the governing political party there. And that is Kuto there giving us his views.
All right, we're going to see the next one, of course, from Bradley. No, guys, this can't be right. And we expected to vote on the 1st of November. Hashtag SDGage Daily. That's the winning hashtag, Bongi.
It always is the winning hashtag. I tell you, Zungu says that the process after the elections is vote counting. Thereafter, a party with a majority of votes gets pronounced. After that, seats are allocated based on the PR votes. You can win, but in PR, then you are short of votes to lead the municipality. These are conversations that you and I are going to be having in the early hours of the morning.
Most certainly. And we've got another one up, of course. It comes from Grato, says, sorry to be so blunt, but keep voting ANC for more of the same. If the ANC doesn't get a hiding in this election, SA deserve what it's going to get under the ANC. And of course, all these views are of you as the viewer and in no way reflect the views of the SABC. And we thank you so much for embracing us for the past 4 weeks as the daily service delivery gauge. We've highlighted most important issues on the ground. We have to thank you so much, and the production team as well that put it together. Bongi, we're looking forward to the next couple of days as well.
And it's going to be fun times, I tell you, as we make sense of what's coming out from that leaderboard, as Griselda was showing us then. And I do hope that the viewers will stay up to see what we have to offer them as we delve deeper into what the results actually mean for your municipalities. From me and Olisi, good night.
Take care. Cheers. Bye.
Walk out,